I'm gonna break down this virtual flip that I'm gonna make potentially $80,000 on. Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for joining me. My name is Graylan Stewart. I'm a virtual wholesaler, but most importantly, I'm just a real estate investor, okay? So we do fix and flips, we do buy and holds, but we wholesale. Wholesaling real estate is our main strategy. What we don't wholesale, we end up flipping or keeping as rentals. So as you know, if you've been watching my channel at all, I was the pinch hitter for our acquisitions for the last week and a half, and I actually got a deal. So my main acquisitions girl, my only acquisition girl now, went on vacation, and guess what? I was the lucky guy that got to fill in. And it was awesome, you know, because I haven't done acquisitions in at least 2 years, but a little bit longer than that. And it was fun, you know, getting to talk to sellers again and just interacting and going through the whole process of getting the lead into our system, following up with that lead, you know, taking those inbound calls, calling people back, you know, texting people, doing the whole thing. You know, that's the key to this business. You know, if you're going to do wholesaling real estate, obviously you got to be good at acquisitions, you got to be good at transaction coordinating, and you got to be good at dispositions. And you have to know how to run a business if you want to make it into a business. But if it's a side hustle, get the deals, sell the deals, and move to the next one, okay? So anyways, I'm going to break down how I did this deal. So this came in, you know, about a week ago. It's in a highly sought out after area. It's a high appreciating area, so a lot of investors want to buy there. It's really hard to get deals there because it is such a affluent area. People know what their houses are worth. Even the not so good houses typically go for retail or close to it at least. So it's very rare. I mean, we do a handful of deals a year in this particular town just because it is difficult to do deals there, and we do marketing there a lot, so that tells you kind of how hard it is. But nevertheless, this was actually a cold call lead, and this was one of my newer cold callers. I think she started with me maybe, this is July of 2021, I think she started with me maybe February or March, so she's pretty new, the newest one that I have. But you know, I have a VA manager that manages all the different cold callers. So she's done a good job training these girls. And all of my VAs, all of my cold callers are in the Philippines, just so you know. So there is that language barrier a little bit with the accent and a little bit of cultural differences, you know, just as far as their tonality and body language, even over the phone, you can kind of see or hear that. But nevertheless, they're doing a really good job. And I'm super happy. You know, it was a cold call lead. She doesn't have, you know, a ton of them all the time because she still is fairly new. She's been at it a few weeks now, but or a few months, sorry. But nevertheless, she's getting better and better. So we got this lead. Obviously, I'm the man now. I'm doing acquisitions, so you know, they connected me with this guy, and he was obviously I already have the notes from the cold caller. Because once they push it into our CRM, it gives me all the notes. So it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, approximately 1,600 square feet. You know, the roof was replaced within the last several months, so it's fairly new. The HVAC system was replaced about 6 years ago, so that's in good shape. Foundation is sound, no cracks on any doorways or in the cement or on the brick or anything like that. So it is a brick house, 3-bed, 2-bath, highly sought after schools in that area. Like I said, it's a super appreciating area, one of the upper income areas of this entire community. So it's a great deal. So the seller was asking $220, and I already knew just based on where it was, because I've done deals there before, and I actually used to live in that area as well. So I know the area really well. So I knew it was worth at least probably 180, and he was asking 120, and the house is in fairly good shape. It just needed some updating. For example, it's got the old school built-in ovens, you know, from the 80s in the wall. That definitely has got to be replaced. It's got the old, Corian countertops and just old flooring that needs to be ripped up and redone, and just some minor nicks and bangs on the doors and walls and things like that. The normal, but all the major things were super sound. No electrical issues. He said there was minor plumbing in the kitchen sink, but that's easy when we're redoing everything else. That's going to be a super easy fix. So, anyway, after talking with them, I kind of estimated that repairs were probably going to be maybe about 20,000 because it needed new flooring, redo some of the kitchen, and new paint job. Touch it up a little bit, maybe some landscaping, just to make it sell good. But that's it. So it's like 15 to 20 grand, 25 if you really want to get crazy. So we'll just say maybe 20,000. I've done enough flips. I'm getting pretty good at guessing on these at this point. But so let me tell you a little bit about the lead itself. So this came from a county list that I actually pulled from PropStream. I've got a link in the description. If you're not on PropStream already and you're already doing some deals, or you're really all in on this business and you want to do deals, use my affiliate link down below, and it'll help you out, especially because you'll get a 7-day free trial. But it helps me out a little bit. I'm not doing it for the money because I'm just promoting it because it works for us. We use it all day, every day. So I analyze the deal on there. But anyways, I pulled the list. So it's an equity absentee list from PropStream for this particular county. And this list was pulled in April of 2020. So it's more than a year old, and we're still cold calling this list. We don't ever necessarily throw lists away. We keep on using them for all the different marketing methods that we do. And it's proven there right there that it still works. April of 2020, and this is July of 2021. So that's a year and 3 months, 18 months, or whatever that is, 16 months, whatever it is, 15 months old. But the list is still valuable, is my point. So don't ever just chunk your list and think that they're dead, because if they're a motivated seller list, something made them motivated. They don't all of a sudden fall off of that list unless they sell the house or something. But at the same time, this is not necessarily a motivated list because it's just equity absentee, which means they sort of might have some pain because it's an absentee owner, meaning they don't live in the house. But it's really just equity. They have equity, so that's the list we go after. But they are absent, meaning they don't live in the house, so it's either a rental or they live out of state or something like that. So they don't live in it, okay? So equity absentee list from a particular county from April of 2020. Okay, so after digging into this property a little more, looking into it, doing the research, I think the ARV is between 200 and 220, okay? So just call it safe. Let's just split the difference and call it 210. Now the seller wanted 120, so after talking to him, I'm like, well, how'd you come up with that? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, well, I just think that's a fair number. I know it needs some repairs, but not a lot. But, he actually thought it needed more like 40 or 50 because he doesn't know what things cost. Some sellers super underestimate, some really overestimate. And in this case, he overestimated. But nevertheless, I was like, you know what? To really make it work good for me, I'm comfortable right at 100,000, and he actually agreed to 100,000. He's like, okay, yeah, I think we can make that work. So he agreed to it. I start, putting all the information in Podio to where we can send the contract because we just click a button and it sends. But, after talking a little more, he was like, oh, well, I better talk to my wife and blah, 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 that whole thing. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to send this until you both are ready, Co. So, call me back or I'll call you back, in an hour or so when your wife's available and you let me know. So anyways, I talked to him again, an hour or so later. He says, we've already got another offer for 105, which, that's just them trying to get more money because they probably are thinking, being reluctant, like, oh, am I going too cheap, or whatever. So, I don't want to play games with them. It was already a really good deal. I could make it work at 120 with what he was asking. So I was just like, you know what? If you got that 105 deal, that's an amazing offer. But let's just go ahead and put that to rest. If we can get this deal done today, I'll go ahead and give you 106 if you both sign off on it now. He's whispering, talking to his wife on the, outside of the phone. And anyway, he comes back on. He says, okay, we'll do it. So I do email him the contract. And here's a pro tip. never just send a contract blindly. Make sure you're on the phone with them while you are explaining it, or while you're there with them, So I was like, basically, here's how it went. I said, okay, I'm going to email you this contract. Do you have access to your email right now? Can you look at it while we're on the phone? He said, yes. I said, okay, I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to stay on the phone while you read through it. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'm here to answer, okay? Otherwise, it's just a simple click to sign. So I sent it to him. It was super easy. He had no questions. He clicked it. He signed it. It wasn't in his wife's name at all, so I didn't need her signature. So I got his autograph, okay? So we ended up locking it up for $106,000. So keep in mind the ARV, we decided it's 210 because we split the 200 and 220. So here's what it is. So the kitchen remodel, I think will take about $4,000. The granite will be about $1,500. We're gonna move. We'll pull out that existing old school built-in oven stuff because we've done this many times. We will build cabinets there, make that like an extra cabinet. So we'll build cabinet doors just like the rest of them. And then once we paint all the cabinets, we'll paint all the trim work and cabinets all white because that's kind of modern because it's got the old school, dark wood work or whatever. And then we'll do new flooring throughout the house. The flooring will be about $5,000. Kitchen will be about $4,000. We'll paint the inside and out. So the trim and the inside paint, that's probably going to be $5,000 or so. And then the outside trim work, the garage and things like that, it's probably $3,000. So probably $8,000 is over exaggerating. I could probably get it closer to $7,000, but let's just say $8,000. And then just doing touch up on the landscape, it'd be about $1,000. So I'll be in it for $19,000. When you add that to the 106, it's about $125,000. Okay. So if we were to sell this for $210,000 and I'm in it for $125,000, obviously I'm closing twice. So I'll be in it for $127,000 probably, and then once I close on the back end, I'll be in it for $130,000 plus maybe some commissions. But give or take, we'll make around $80,000 on the deal when it's all said and done. And that small of a project are the only kind of projects I do, because I don't do full remodels. No one has time for that. I can get this project done in 2 to 3 weeks, 4 weeks tops if it's tough finding contractors. But this deal is a slam dunk, no brainer. Why would I wholesale that? Sure, I can make 20 or 30,000 maybe, or I can just flip it 3 or 4 weeks later, and then it's delayed gratification. But wouldn't you do it too? Make 75 to 80 as opposed to a quick 20, maybe 30 tops to wholesale it. It depends on where your financial situation is. If you need cash now, it's probably smarter just to wholesale it and move on. But if you're not cash strapped and you can actually wait, it's way better just to flip that yourself because the market is super hot. And I can honestly probably get more than 210 because the market is on fire, and that is the most sought out area in that neighborhood, in that school district, and all that. So there it is. So what do y'all think? Drop me some comments. Let me know your thoughts. So it's a cool deal. It's from just cold calling. We don't do the cold calling ourselves. We have a cold calling team. 4 different girls. One of them manages the other 3, but she calls as well. And then we're gonna make $80,000 on that deal. So it's worth paying a cold caller $7 or $8 an hour, wouldn't you think? Drop me a comment. Give me a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. A quick fact. I was looking at the analytics on YouTube, and there's actually like 85% of y'all that are watching these videos. You don't even subscribe. You don't even like the videos. If you stuck around this long, please like it at least, but subscribe to help me out. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot.